Okay, today we're going to be looking at some example problems. I hope you've already picked up on the basics of how to do this, either by watching the videos with the previous lesson or by the classroom instruction. But we'll work a few of these to try to help make sure everybody knows what's going on. So what we're going to have on this first one is I'm going to show you the sketch a graph method. I think it's a great idea to always sketch a graph to get an idea of what it is. This is very important, especially if you're a visual person. I know the directions say point, slope, form, but I don't really care which way you use. In fact, I'm not going to use point, slope, form personally. So if I've got -2, 1, I go back 2 and up 1. And then with a slope of -3, that's the same thing as -3 over 1. So to graph that, I'm going to go down 1. Oops. I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, and over 1. And then that gives me this value. And then I'm going to need to go down 1, 2, 3, and over 1 again, which will give me this value. So if you count carefully, I went down a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which puts me down here at -5 for my y-intercept. So my answer should be y equals -3x minus 5. So in this case, counting using your slope kind of gave you an idea of what the graph looks like. At the very least, you have an estimate of where it should be. And if you graph carefully, especially if you have some graph paper, you'll get the answer. Now, I know not all of you will enjoy graphing and understand that as well, so I'll show you the other method as well. The other method is I'm basically going to use my equation, y equals mx plus b. And then I'm going to plug in my value. So my y value here is 1. That's the y coordinate of the point they gave me. My slope is -3 because that's what's given. And then the x value of that point is -2. So that's going to give me this equation. And then I'm going to multiply. -3 times -2 is 6 plus b. And then I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. So to get the b by itself, I'll need to subtract 6. That gives me a -5 is b. And then that's what I have there. Notice doing it this way, you get the same answer as you did earlier. You still have to put the -3 that they gave you in front of the x, and then the -5 you figured out goes on the end. So whether you use the graph to get the y-intercept or whether you use this equation, you should get the same answer either way. I'm going to work one more that has a fraction. I guess I'll pick on number 6 since it has a fraction. I'm going to sketch a graph as quickly as I can. So when I sketch the graph, I have the point 1, 2, so over 1 up 2. And then I have a slope of -1/2. So I go down 1 over 1, 2, and then I go down 1 and over 1, 2 again. Well, I have hit something that I wasn't supposed to. Let's see if I can get back to where I was. Yep. And got to be careful with this screen. It gets a mind of its own sometimes. So it looks like I was over about right there, which I've gone over a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this way. And then if I go back the other way, the problem I'm going to have, though, is when I draw this line, it's not going to come out exactly. So that's why you cannot rely on the graphing method alone. It looks like it's somewhere between 2 and 3, but it's hard to know exactly what it is. So I'm going to go, as always, you got to have an equation way to back up your graph. So here we go. I'm going to try y equals mx plus b. My y coordinate is 2. My m is -1/2. And my x coordinate is 1 plus b. That's going to be 2 equals, multiplying by 1 is still a -1/2. And now I'll add 1/2 to both sides. So I am going to get a b value of 2.5. So if b turns out to be 2.5, or I can write that as 2.5, that means my final equation would have been y equals -1/2x plus 2.5, 5 halves, or 2.5. Take your